Hi, this is Michael with Kemco Systems Service Department again, and we're going to continue with our wiring and pre-fire checkup. First of all, most important I need to discuss in this section is that all work should be performed by a licensed electrician, and all local and applicable codes should be taken into consideration. Of course, as we're looking at our video, there is wiring hanging out, which all wiring should be done in a conduit and to all electrical codes. These wires are only hanging out in Kemco's test facility and should not be duplicated. This is only for test only. Okay. Now what we're going to do is get into our pre-wire checkup. There's going to be no power turned on. This is what we talked about before. Our three-phase power coming in at our minimum ampacity. We already discussed that. What we want to do first of all and foremost is check all the electrical connections for being tight and secured before we do anything. Okay? Once everything is tight and secured, we also want to make sure that we ran our conduit with our control wiring from our main power panel to our Vaparator control panel, which we will get to in just a couple minutes. Once that wire is ran, if you check our electrical drawing, it'll show you the exact amount of wires and wire numbers and terminals to hook up to. Once that is all done, we will go through and grab an ohm meter, and we want to make sure before we turn anything on that we check all power wires to the ground terminal on the ohm scale. There should be no reading at all. This will ensure that we have no shorts at all in the system. When we turn it on, we will not have any shorts or problems. All right, now we're going to go over here and we're going to look at our main control panel. Okay, we're going to do a repeat. Make sure that we have the proper control wiring from our control panel to our main power motor starter panel. To do that, we'll be provided electrical drawings that we described earlier. Go through all the connections, make sure everything is nice and tight completely again. Once you do that, we're going to do the same as before. We're going to grab an ohm meter. We're going to go from our ground terminal, and we're going to go through all of our hot terminals, make sure there is no continuity, there is no shorts. Once we know that there are no shorts at all, we know that this panel is secure, the other panel is secure, and then we'll do our last but final out of our main panel, which is going to be our high voltage wiring going to our motor. Again, this is just for test purposes only. This is not to be duplicated. This is just at a test facility at Kemco Systems, not to be duplicated. All right. We need to make sure that we run the proper wiring in a conduit from our motor starter panel to the motor. The wiring size will be laid out on the electrical wiring diagram. Then once we have the wire ran over to the motor, we also have to make sure that there is a ground in the wiring too. Ground is very important. Okay? We recommend that you use National Electrical Code approved termination connectors for the motor starter. Okay? Once we get everything ran in, we will be ready to move on to the next part of turning on the system and checking the rotation of the motor.